It starts with a simple notification, a buzz, a ping, a message from a number you don't recognize. You might ignore it, delete it, block it, but what if you can't? What if this message is the last one you'll ever receive, and the last one you'll ever be able to send? This is the chilling premise that has captivated and terrified audiences for decades, a recurring nightmare woven into the fabric of our digital lives. Tonight, we read diving deep into the abyss of the last message trope in horror and psychological cinema. We'll explore how this seemingly simple concept preys on our most primal fears of isolation, regret, and the terrifying unknown that lies just beyond the screen. From found footage films where a final text chronicles a descent into madness, to supernatural thrillers where a ghostly message warns of impending doom, the last message is more than just a plot device. It's a mirror reflecting our own anxieties in an age of constant connection, yet profound loneliness. What final words would we choose? And who would be on the receiving end? Stay with us as we dissect the films that have perfected this art of digital dread. You might want to put your phone on silent for this one. The power of the last message lies in its finality. It's a digital ghost, a fragment of a person suspended in time. Think about it. In our everyday lives, communication is fluid, endless. We can clarify, apologize, take back our words. But a final message, it's a period at the end of a life sentence. There are no take-backs. This is what makes it such a potent tool for horror. The film One Missed Call and its many iterations perfected this. You receive a voicemail from your own number, dated in the near future. In it, you hear your own terrified screams, the last sounds you'll ever make. The message isn't just a warning. It's a pre-written obituary, a fatalistic countdown you are powerless to stop. The horror isn't just the impending death, but the psychological torture of knowing exactly how and when it will happen. The film brilliantly taps into our reliance on and trust in our phones, turning our most personal device into a harbinger of death. The call isn't from a monster hiding in the closet, it's coming from inside your pocket. It weaponizes the mundane, transforming a familiar ringtone into a death knell. This is the first layer of terror, the loss of control, the inescapable fate delivered through a device meant to connect us. But it's not always about a message from the future. Sometimes, the horror comes from the past, a message that reaches out from beyond the grave. This is where the psychological element truly takes hold. In films like The Ring or Pulse, the cursed message isn't a personalized warning, but a viral contagion. It spreads from person to person, a digital plague. The last message here is the one you see right before you die, and the one you are forced to pass on to save yourself. This creates an unbearable moral dilemma. Do you sacrifice a stranger to buy yourself more time? The horror shifts from external threat to internal corruption. The characters are no longer just victims. They become unwilling accomplices, carriers of the curse. The message becomes a test of our own morality when faced with our own mortality. It exposes the selfish survivalist instinct that lies dormant within all of us. The films ask a disturbing question. How far would you go to live? Would you doom someone else with a single click, a shared file, a forwarded message? The horror is in the answer you're afraid to admit, even to yourself. It suggests that the real monster isn't the ghost in the machine, but the darkness that the machine can unleash within the human heart. Let's move beyond the supernatural and into the purely psychological. The last message can be just as terrifying when it's entirely human. Consider the found footage genre. Films like Megan is Missing or The Den use the final desperate messages of their protagonists to create a sense of unbearable, visceral realism. We aren't just watching a story, we're sifting through the digital wreckage of a life cut short. The horror comes from the intimacy and the helplessness. We see the last text sent to a parent, the final frantic video call to a friend, the last status update that trails off into silence. These aren't cryptic warnings. They are raw, unfiltered cries for help that go unanswered. The psychological weight is immense. We, the audience, become voyeurs to tragedy, piecing together a person's final moments from their digital footprint. There's no monster, no ghost, just the chilling reality of human cruelty and the cold indifference of the digital world. The terror is in the unanswered questions. What happened in those final moments? Could someone have done something? The film holds a mirror up to our own online behavior, the way we scroll past pleas for help, the way we can become desensitized to online tragedy. The last message, in this context, is a stark reminder of the real dangers that lurk behind anonymous profiles and the very real people who fall victim to them. It's a powerful, cautionary tale for the internet age. The theme also preys on one of our deepest emotional vulnerabilities, regret. The last message is often the one we wish we could take back, or the one we wish we had sent. In many psychological thrillers, the plot revolves around a character haunted by a final, unresolved conversation, a text message argument that ends with harsh words right before a tragic accident, a missed call from a loved one that you ignored, only to find out it was their last. The horror here is not of death, but of living with the consequences. The film's protagonist is trapped in a loop of guilt and what-ifs. The message on their screen becomes a permanent scar, a constant reminder of their failure to connect, to forgive, to say "I love you" one last time. This is a subtle, creeping horror that gnaws at the soul. It suggests that the greatest ghosts are not the ones that haunt our houses, but the ones that haunt our inboxes and our minds. The film becomes an exploration of grief in the digital age, where the evidence of our failures is preserved with perfect, painful clarity. You can't burn a text message. You can't tear up a voicemail. It's there forever. A digital tombstone for a relationship, a final word that can never be amended. The psychological torture is the endless replay of that final interaction, a self-inflicted haunting that is more terrifying than any external threat. So, why does this theme resonate so deeply with us? Because at its core, the last message is about our fundamental human desire for connection and closure. In a world where we can communicate instantly across vast distances, the idea of a final severed connection is terrifying. Our phones are extensions of ourselves, repositories of our relationships, our memories, our secrets. The idea of that device being turned against us, or becoming the final record of our greatest regret, strikes at the very heart of our modern existence. The films we've discussed are more than just scary stories. They are cautionary tales, philosophical inquiries, and dark reflections of our times. They force us to confront our own mortality, our morality, and our relationship with the technology that has become so intertwined with our lives. They ask us to consider the weight of our words, to be mindful of our connections, because we never truly know which message will be our last. The screen you're watching this on right now is a portal. It can bring connection, knowledge, and entertainment. But as these films chillingly remind us, it can also be a window into darkness, a conduit for fear, and the final messenger of our own demise. The next time your phone buzzes with an unknown number, you might just pause for a second. You might think twice before you open it, because you never know what message is waiting for you on the other side. Thank you for watching. If you found this exploration of digital dread compelling, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Until next time, stay safe, and maybe, just maybe, keep an eye on your inbox.